Welcome to Pennsylvania in Focus. I'm Kristen Smith, Pennsylvania editor for the Center Square. Joining me today is the Center Square's Pennsylvania reporter, Anthony Hennin. Recently, the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission got to hear from its soon-to-be commissioner, and that is a man by the name of Keith Leaphart, who has his eye on an issue that actually matters both to drivers and the Turnpike Commission itself. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about that, Anthony?
Yeah, so the Pennsylvania Turnpike has not exactly endeared itself to many commuters. If you've crisscrossed the Commonwealth in recent years, the Turnpike has some of the highest tolls you can find if you drive the entire length across America. And we're also looking at some steadily increasing tolls. Generally, it's probably going to be 5% for the near future, and that will only decline to a 3% increase by 2028. But we're staring down toll increases through at least 2053, according to projections from the commission. So Leaphart, in his testimony, the hearing was pretty smooth for him. Both Democrats and Republicans were very complimentary of his resume and expect him to be a strong leader. But Leaphart focused on talking about basically trying to get these fare revenues down, or at least keep things under control, and also improving toll collections. Because overall, the Turnpike captures 93 to 94% of revenues, he says, and much of that, it's not so much a system issue for monitoring or anything else, but a lot of the lack of toll collections comes simply from people not paying the tolls and being scofflaws, as he said in his testimony. So there's a bit more power the commission has now to go after people who are not paying tolls. Unpaid tolls can go to debt collection firms after 2 months if they're not paid. You can also see registration suspensions for drivers who don't pay their tolls. So the enforcement end has kind of bumped up since 2012. Last year, the General Assembly passed Act 12 to give more power here. But if you're looking for declining costs or prices, that does not seem to be in the cards and won't be for a very long time.
As you mentioned, our turnpike is one of the most expensive. I think it's over $100 to go from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. Maybe even one end of, the first exit to the very last exit, which that number escapes my mind. And we've also, if my memory serves me correctly, struggled with not only Pennsylvania residents not paying, but we have an issue with out-of-state residents kind of skirting the tolls. Was any of that mentioned in his testimony?
Not specifically. I think it's also just when you look at in-state versus out-of-state drivers, out-of-state drivers may, within their own proportions, pay fewer tolls, but simply from the use of in-state drivers using the turnpike more. I think they're generally the ones who owe more, though the data was not in his testimony. So, there's some things they can do to prevent that. A lot of this simply is, the commission sends out tolls. They encourage people to get an easy pass rather than having them mail the toll to you later. That also saves some fees on the commission side. But it doesn't seem like it's a very stark in-state versus out-of-state driver issue. It's simply a people not wanting to pay issue.
Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. For Anthony Hennin, this is Kristen Smith. Please subscribe, and thanks for listening.